This device is designed to make a gaming PC earn money every month. That's not my wording, it's printed right on the box. And no, it is not crypto mining. So what is it, what does it do, and how does it get paid? It's called the Nano, and it's made by a company called Yom. Just for some context, their team is fully public. They have some big name backers such as the Avalanche Network, and last year at Gamescom they won the Best Startup Award, which is something that I think really matters when we're going to be plugging hardware into our computers. They're based in the Netherlands, and they're currently building what's called a decentralized cloud gaming network, which does sound a little technical, but the idea in itself is actually very simple. Cloud gaming is when a video game actually isn't running on your device, but on a powerful computer somewhere else, and you just stream it. Services like Nvidia's GeForce Now or Xbox Cloud Gaming work exactly like this. The catch is those games run on huge data centers, which require expensive equipment, and then that cost gets passed down onto the users. And when everything's running on servers far away, high ping really becomes a problem, and you know what I'm talking about if you've ever played League of Legends or Counter-Strike. What Yom is doing differently compared to those centralized companies is spreading that workload out. Instead of running games on massive data centers, they run games on PCs just like this. Bro, I really gotta hit the gym. Meaning, these are actually distributed all around the world. So when someone launches a game, Yom's system looks for a computer with available power, and that's where the Nano comes in. It's what lets your gaming PC plug into the Yom network and say, flip it around, plug into the network and say, hey, I've got available GPU power. Did I mention that they built this thing very well, and they even included magnets, which means you don't have to have it dangling or struggle with how you're going to mount it somewhere? When your PC is selected to run a session, it starts working, and that's why you get paid. Now, the obvious question a lot of you guys are going to ask is this bad for your computer? The short answer being no more than normal gaming, and actually it can be easier on your system. Instead of constant on-off spikes like during a gaming session, the Nano is actually going to have a more stable GPU workload. Now, obviously, if you're going to use a computer, there's always going to be some wear. The part that really wear over time are going to be things like fans and the fan bearings, maybe a little bit your PSU, and obviously, as long as your computer's on, anything is going to wear down a little bit. But as long as your airflow and cooling are decent, this is closer to gaming than cryptocurrency mining on your computer. So to wrap up that section of the video, the real variables here are going to be airflow, cooling, and how often the computer is actually being used, not some hitting damage happening in the background. At the end of the day, it really comes down to the economics. Is the money that the Nano pays you actually going to be worth it? On the hardware side, a single Nano device can actually spin up multiple sessions at a time. How many, you ask? Well, up to 7 different sessions on a single computer if it's powerful enough. Economically, that's going to matter to us a lot because each session can earn money. And here's probably the part why you clicked on this video. We're going to talk about the money. Under average conditions, you could be making anywhere from $50 to several $100s a month, but that's going to depend heavily on your setup and how often your PC is actually being used. Before we dive into the exact numbers, I want to make sure you guys understand that in today's video, these are going to be estimates, but I'm going to be running a 30-day long test, not on the computer you saw in the intro with the cool RGB fans, but on the one I brought up right here, which has an RTX 2070 Super in it. So if you want to see how this actually plays out in practice, make sure to catch that video. Before I give you a full rundown of each situation's possible earnings, we need to talk about the costs. If you already own a gaming PC, your cost effectively going to be zero. This setup really only makes sense if you already have the hardware sitting there. If you're going to be buying a PC just to do this, the economics change completely. So for the rest of this breakdown, I'm going to assume that you already have a gaming computer because that's who the Nano is going to be for. Once the hardware is a given, the real ongoing cost is going to be electricity. To keep things realistic, I'm not going to be using a crazy high-end setup. I'm going to assume an average gaming PC roughly in line with the most common hardware on Steam. So that's going to be an NVIDIA RTX 3060 as a CPU, a Ryzen 5 5600 or an i5 12400. 16 gigs of DDR4, a 1TB SSD, and a 650 watt PSU, which is going to be 80 plus bronze or gold. Yeah, I said DDR4 because unless you guys are oil princes, not many people are buying DDR5 lately. If that kind of PC is running 24/7, sometimes under load, sometimes idle, you're going to be looking at roughly $20 to $25 in monthly electricity in a median US state such as Texas. That's not a worst case number, that's not the best case either. I think it's a realistic middle of the road estimate. So for the rest of this breakdown, we're going to say that the electricity cost monthly is $25. Once the electricity is accounted for, the next cost is going to be the Nano device itself. And do me a favor, before you click off when you hear the price of the Nano, wait till you hear the possible monthly earnings. With the 10% discount that you'll get by using my link below, the Nano itself, with everything you need to run it, will come to around $384 shipped. Without the discount, it's obviously a little higher, but I'm going to assume that the price most people are going to pay is with the discount. I mean, unless you don't want the discount. That's going to include the cable, the device itself, and the first license on it. If you want to run more sessions at a single time, you can add additional licenses in the future. Those are optional and they're going to be totally dependent on the GPU that you have, because if it's not powerful enough, you're not going to be able to run the maximum sessions. And I'll show you how to check that in just a little bit. For now, let's keep it simple. We're going to do one Nano, one license, because I think that's the baseline that everyone can compare against. According to Yom's own calculator that we find on their website, one license is going to earn around $53 a month. That estimate already assumes an average utilization rate, which means your PC isn't running non-stop, but it's being used constantly when there's demand. Once you subtract the roughly $25 of electricity, that's going to come out to around $30 to $32 net each month. Now, this is not life-changing money. I want to be very clear about that. On its own, I think that one license is more a baseline rather than a strategy. When this starts to get really interesting is when you look at scaling, because the Nano itself isn't limited to just one session. On a capable GPU, so obviously not a 6060 from like 13 years ago, you can run multiple sessions at the same time, and each one is going to earn independently. A reasonable step up for a mid-range computer like the one I was talking about earlier would be around 4 licenses. According to their calculator, 4 licenses are estimated to earn around $212 a month. After electricity, that puts net earnings in the ballpark of $100 to $190 monthly. So this is the level where it starts to get really interesting. Now on the upper bound. So let's say you've got a 4090, a 5080, a 5090 GPU. On those rigs, you'll be able to run up to 7 licenses at the same time. Yom's calculator is going to show estimated earnings of around $371 each month. I mean, after electricity costs, obviously going to be a bit higher on a higher end gaming PC, you're still looking at over $300 a month. So after we talked about monthly earnings, how long is it going to take to break even? How much time does it take to get your money back and start actually making some profit? Starting with one license, the Nano itself costs $384. At about $53 of earnings per month before electricity, that gives us a break even of 7 to 8 months. So that's one license. It's the lowest commitment, but it's also the slowest path. When you scale up to 4 licenses, the upfront costs increase, but so do the earnings. According to Yom's calculator, once again, that setup earns around $212 every month, which before electricity brings your break even to roughly 6 to 7 months, so you could say 7 with electricity. And at the upper end, with a powerful GPU running 7 sessions at once, the calculator shows around $371 per month with a similar 6 to 7 month break even window. So scaling up your number of licenses doesn't just increase the income, it also lowers your break even time. One thing that I want to make very clear for you guys is that when your PC is running a game session, the GPU power is being used, so you're not gaming or working on it at the same time. That being said, most gaming PCs are idle most of the day. Overnight, when you're at work or when you're just not using it, is when you'll be running the Nano. So it's not going to be like background income in the sense of multitasking. It's more about monetizing downtime. If you're someone that games for a couple hours a day and leaves your computer idle the rest of the time, that unused capacity is what this is going to target. If you want to check how many Yom licenses your computer can actually run, first you're going to head over to Yom's rig check tool by clicking the first link in the description or the pinned comment. That's also how you get the 10% discount. But what you're going to do is run the test on your PC you'd be using. It's going to check your GPU, your VRAM, your CPU, and your internet connection, for which you are going to need Ethernet. And once it's done, it'll tell you how many concurrent sessions your system is capable of running and show you the button you can click that will bring you to the store to purchase your first Nano. That being said, if you'd like to wait for my second video where I'll actually be running it for 30 days and walking you through the full setup, that takes around 10 minutes, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you have any questions, you guys already know that the comment section's down there as well. But on that note, it was your boy Smolcom. I hope you guys have a good one, and I'll catch y'all in another one. Peace. I had not realized that when moving the other computer, I put some stuff on me, so just ignore that.